Why also, it looks like Nicki Minaj's beef with the Carters is still very hot because Nicki just dragged them for filth for trying to ruin her career and deliberately sabotage her. The tension between Nicki and the Carters has been bubbling under the surface for a minute now, but things really started to boil over a few months ago when Nicki accused the Carters of allegedly signing Meg Thee Stallion just because they wanted to make Megan into the new Nicki and overthrow her as the queen of rap. And let's not forget about when Nicki claimed that Roc Nation was out here sponsoring hate attacks towards her. Well, now it seems like the Carters have allegedly taken things up a notch by coming for Nicki's coin. This drama is way too juicy to ignore because you know Nicki Minaj is going to fight back against them with all her barbs to expose their shady behavior. Looks like Nicki is finally ready to spill all the tea in this situation and why all looks like Beyonce did her dirty big time. So let's spill all the tea now. Nicki's drama with Beyonce flared up again recently when the VM announced Make the Stan as this year's host, and let's just say it got people talking. Everybody assumed that Nicki would host again, especially since she's been holding down the VMAs for the past couple of years. So when Megan was revealed as the new host, everybody started talking about Nicki's rant about how Beyonce and Jay-Z. It seems like the spotlight on Nicki Minaj isn't just about her music anymore, it's also about the drama that's been swirling around her for years. For those who might have dismissed Nicki as just stirring the pot out of jealousy, recent events suggest she might have had a point all along. Over time, many assumed Nicki was merely causing trouble for Beyonce out of spite, but it appears there might have been more to her actions than initially met the eye. To understand the full scope of this drama, we need to revisit Nicki's history with Megan Thee Stallion, Beyonce, and Jay-Z, a history that's anything but harmonious. Let's take a trip back to when Megan released her song Hiss. If you recall, Nicki's reaction was nothing short of explosive. She took to social media, airing her grievances and going on a lengthy rant that lasted days. Her frustration seemed rooted in what she perceived as subtle and not so subtle jabs Megan had taken at her in the song. Despite, or perhaps because of Nicki's very public outburst, Hiss shot to #1, with many speculating that Nicki's tirade only helped boost its popularity. At the time, most of us believed this beef was strictly between Nicki and Megan. However, what's come to light more recently suggests that the situation was far more complicated, with Beyonce and Jay-Z allegedly playing roles behind the scenes. Nicki's animosity towards Beyonce and Jay-Z isn't a recent development. In fact, it stretches back much further than most people realize. There was a period when Nicki and Beyonce were incredibly close, working together on now iconic tracks like Feeling Myself and the remix of Flawless. Their collaborations were celebrated by fans and seemed to signify a powerful alliance between two of music's most influential women. But somewhere along the way, things began to change. The exact cause of the fallout between Nicki and Beyonce is shrouded in mystery, but whispers of tension began circulating within the industry. Some insiders suggested that Beyonce's loyalty to her husband, Jay-Z, might have played a part in the rift. Jay-Z, as the head of Roc Nation, has long been a key figure in the careers of many artists, including Megan Thee Stallion. Speculation grew that Jay-Z's involvement with Megan's career may have fueled the tension between Nicki and Beyonce, particularly as Nicki perceived that Megan was being used as a pawn in a larger game designed to undermine her. What was once a strong bond between Nicki and Beyonce gradually soured, and it wasn't long before the two stopped collaborating altogether. Fans noticed the shift, and rumors began to circulate that the relationship had turned frosty. Nicki's subsequent behavior, including her social media rants and thinly veiled lyrics, hinted at her disillusionment with the power dynamics at play. For those who might have seen Nicki as simply jealous or difficult, the revelation that Beyonce and Jay-Z were potentially involved in a broader scheme against her adds a new layer of complexity to the story. This ongoing saga underscores the intricate, often hidden relationships that shape the music industry. What may appear to the public as petty feuds often has deeper roots in power struggles, alliances, and betrayals. In Nicki's case, her outspoken nature has both alienated her from former allies and garnered her a loyal following of fans who believe she's been unfairly targeted. And as more details emerge, it becomes clear that Nicki's journey is not just about staying at the top of her game musically, but also about navigating the treacherous waters of an industry where friendships can turn to rivalries in an instant. Though they haven't had any public blowouts, fans have been quick to notice the subtle tension simmering between Nicki Minaj and Beyonce. It isn't something either of them has addressed directly, but the signs are there, lurking beneath the surface of their interactions in music. One of the first instances that raised eyebrows was Nicki's verse in her song with Doja Cat, Say So. In the track, Nicki rapped, Why are you talking about who body is fake? With all these fillers in your face, you are just full of hate. That real ass ain't keeping your N at home. Now you looking silly, that's the word to silicone. Many fans couldn't help but wonder if Nicki was throwing shade at Beyonce, especially given the timing of the release. What really got fans talking, however, was how this low-key drama seemed to escalate right after Beyonce's jumped on the remix of Megan Thee Stallion's hit Savage. At that time, Nicki and Megan were already on shaky ground, and it didn't take long for fans to start putting the pieces together. Nicki has a reputation for not holding back once she sets her sights on someone, and this situation was no different. Soon after, she was again accused of shading Beyonce in her song Press Play, where she seemingly referenced Beyonce's rapping. They say, "You can't be Beyonce. Daddy was no businessman. Mama was no business owner. What an idiot. You can't be me. I'm already that BH." But the fact that Beyonce's parents were indeed business owners only fueled speculation that this was a direct shot at Queen Bee herself. Around this time, fans began to notice that Nicki seemed to be distancing herself from Beyonce, particularly as Beyonce grew closer to Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. For those who followed Beyonce's career, it's no secret that she tends to avoid negative press. Given the negative attention surrounding Nicki due to the actions of her husband, Kenneth Petty, it wouldn't be surprising if Beyonce decided to step back. This theory makes sense, but it's clear that Nicki wasn't thrilled about it. And things only got messier when Nicki's ongoing feud with Megan, who by this time had signed with Roc Nation, began to heat up. When Nicki went off on Megan, she didn't hesitate to call out Roc Nation multiple times, accusing them of trying to sabotage her career. In one of her tweets, Nicki suggested that Megan was bold because she knew she was backed by Roc Nation. Nicki wrote, "Thinks she's a bully because she gets a Roc Nation brunch every year. Be mad at the party. He told all your tea, but you taking shots at my family. Get up on your good foot, go apologize to your mother," and nasty serpent. She didn't stop there. Nicki also shared a screenshot of a Roc Nation ad promoting Megan's song Hits and said, "Spending so much money, and she's the little broke independent artist. Desiree, you gotta let it go, baby. The world knows she's ass and can't rap. Stop trying to make fetch happen. I just put out a song with no promo, no video, it's already #2. Nicki then took it a step further by threatening to expose Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation, accusing her of firing people without legitimate reason and spending millions of dollars to prop Megan up as the next Nicki Minaj. Nicki's tweets were relentless on the next song. I delve into all the people Desiree allegedly fired for unknown reasons. Other things as well. So many people were blindsided and hurt by her, allegedly. She's willing to go broke to try to replace me. Fix it, Jesus. But the drama doesn't end with Beyonce. Nicki's got beef with Jay-Z too. Rumor has it that Nicki has a solid reason to be furious at Jay-Z and Roc Nation because they allegedly helped Meek Mill cover up the fact that he laid hands on her when they were together. Many people think Nicki is just jealous because Beyonce and Jay-Z chose Megan Thee Stallion as their protégé and invested millions of dollars in her. However, the reality is more complicated. The drama allegedly started because Roc Nation helped her ex-boyfriend, Meek Mill, avoid repercussions for his abusive behavior. Fast forward a few years after Nicki and Meek broke up, and Nicki announced that she was working on a documentary about her life called Queen the Documentary. According to rumors, someone from Roc Nation reached out and made sure she cut out the parts where Meek was being cruel and putting his hands on her. They didn't want her making him look bad. Eventually, HBO canceled the documentary, but Nicki posted a screenshot from the already filmed footage, hinting at the content she was forced to cut. The tension between Nicki Minaj and Roc Nation, particularly Beyonce and Jay-Z, appears to be the culmination of years of grievances, power plays, and complex dynamics. What began as a promising alliance has devolved into a tangled web of professional rivalries and personal betrayals. For Nicki, this isn't just about her music, it's about standing her ground in an industry where alliances can shift and friendships can turn sour in the blink of an eye. Whether this drama will ever be resolved remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: Nicki Minaj isn't backing down anytime soon.
She talks about how she was badly treated by an ex.
My mother would let my father be violent with her. And she always brings up the story as a little girl. I would stand in front of my mother and go like this. And I vowed, like, that's why I'm, like, maybe some people would describe me as abrasive or bitchy or whatever, because I vowed from that age, no man would ever abuse me, call me out my name, treat me like that. And then all of a sudden, that was my life.
Though Nicki Minaj never explicitly named Meek Mill in her accusations, it was unmistakably clear that he was the target. Her public allegations seemed to hit close to home for Meek, prompting him to take legal action by sending her a cease and desist letter. The letter's intent was to prevent further discussion of their troubled relationship and, ideally, to suppress any additional remarks from Nicki. However, rather than quelling the situation, the legal maneuver seemed to stoke the flames of controversy, intensifying Nicki's outrage. Nicki Minaj responded to the cease and desist with a series of explosive tweets, using her platform to publicly air her grievances and escalate the conflict. Her tweets were a direct and scathing indictment of Meek, revealing deep-seated animosity and personal grievances. In one particularly incendiary tweet, Nicki wrote, "You a clown, you do it for likes. Twitter fingers beat women, scared of men. You beat your own sister and taped it, spit on her and taped it, kicked me in front of your mother, and sent her to the hospital. Sucking Drake's DK made you feel tough again. Move on, you can never stand on your own. You were around, you know. See you soon." In this tweet, Nicki didn't just accuse Meek Mill of physical abuse towards her, she expanded her accusations to include disturbing allegations about his treatment of other women. She accused him of physically assaulting his sister and recording it, as well as other egregious acts of violence and disrespect. The mention of his mother, as well as the claim that Meek had sent her to the hospital, painted a picture of a deeply troubled and abusive individual. Nicki's statements took aim at both Meek's character and his public persona. By calling him a clown and suggesting he only acts out for social media validation, she dismissed his credibility and questioned his authenticity. Her reference to Twitter fingers was a pointed critique of what she perceived as Meek's cowardice and inability to confront his issues directly, suggesting that his aggressive behavior was not just a pattern of abuse, but also a means to mask his insecurities. Furthermore, Nicki's mention of Meek Mill's alleged actions towards his sister and his reliance on others, like Drake, for validation, was designed to undermine his public image and reputation. By revealing these personal and sensitive details, she aimed to expose what she saw as deeper, systemic issues in Meek's behavior and character. Her comments about Meek's alleged violence toward his sister were particularly shocking and intended to generate a strong public reaction. The underlying message of Nicki's tweet was clear: she wanted to convey that Meek's public persona was a facade that masked a darker reality. Her frustrated outburst seemed to be not just a reaction to the legal threat, but a broader attempt to hold him accountable for what she described as his abusive behavior and lack of genuine courage. Nicki's choice to respond so publicly, and with such vitriol, reflected her frustration and the sense of injustice she felt. The tweet was not only a defense of herself, but also an attempt to expose what she viewed as serious moral failings and personal weaknesses in Meek Mill. It also served as a powerful statement to her followers and the public, emphasizing her refusal to be silenced or intimidated. The fallout from this exchange was significant, as it not only reignited old tensions between the two but also brought new scrutiny and discussion about their relationship and Meek's character. For Nicki, the public outburst was a means to reclaim her narrative and challenge what she perceived as a damaging and false portrayal of her by Meek Mill. It was a reminder for Meek of the personal and public consequences of their contentious past, as well as the ongoing impact of their unresolved issues. Nicki's tweet was a powerful and public indictment, reflecting the deep-seated resentment she still harbors toward Meek. But her anger isn't just reserved for him. Nicki's grudge also extends to Jay-Z, whom she believes played a role in helping Meek avoid consequences for his alleged actions. While Nicki has been unreservedly vocal about her feelings, Jay-Z and Beyonce have remained conspicuously silent, leading many fans to wonder if there's more to this story than meets the eye. When Nicki says Roc Nation is after her, their silence has only fueled speculation. Over the years, Nicki has repeatedly hinted at being targeted by powerful industry players, and some of her fans believe Roc Nation could be behind these alleged efforts to undermine her career. One particularly telling moment came last year when Nicki hosted the VMAs. During the event, she made an intriguing comment, subtly suggesting that someone had pressured MTV into dropping her from certain performances or categories. Though she didn't mention any names, fans quickly connected the dots, speculating that Roc Nation could be involved, given Nicki's ongoing feud with the label and its artists. The notion that Roc Nation, led by Jay-Z and closely associated with Beyonce, might be working against Nicki has gained traction among her fan base. They point to the increasingly strained relationship between Nicki and the Carters, noting how the once friendly collaboration between Nicki and Beyonce has seemingly soured over time. Whether it's Nicki's accusations against Meek, her tweets hinting at industry sabotage, or her veiled comments during major events, there's a growing belief among her supporters that powerful forces may be conspiring to bring her down. While Jay-Z and Beyonce's silence may be interpreted as a strategic move to avoid public drama, it has only heightened the sense of intrigue and suspicion. For Nicki, this battle appears far from over, and as she continues to speak out, it's clear that she won't be backing down anytime soon.
Now listen, real quick. MTV is petrified because they got a couple calls yesterday, and people were saying, what if Nicki says this and if Nicki says that? And I said, it's okay, MTV, I can control myself.
Just before Megan Thee Stallion was announced as the new host of the VMAs, some intriguing and controversial claims began circulating on social media. One particularly explosive rumor suggested that Megan, dubbed Bigfoot by her detractors, along with Roc Nation, allegedly threatened MTV last year to prevent Nicki Minaj from performing her hit song Red Ruby Da Sleaze. According to these claims, Roc Nation supposedly leveraged their influence to ensure Megan's rise while sidelining Nicki. This year's VMAs will indeed be hosted by none other than Megan Thee Stallion, a choice that has fueled even more speculation and outrage among certain fan bases. Critics have been quick to point out that Megan, despite her rising fame, has struggled with some aspects of her career, such as selling out arenas on her first tour. These critics argue that her recent political appearances, including her controversial twerking performance on stage with Vice President Kamala Harris, have made her a divisive figure, diminishing her credibility. One viral post went so far as to claim that Roc Nation's CEO, Desiree Perez, is using one of America's favorite singers, presumably Beyonce, to bolster Megan's image, making her appear more successful than she actually is. The post insinuated that Roc Nation allegedly made it clear to MTV that if Megan wasn't given the opportunity to host the VMAs, then Beyonce and Jay-Z, the power couple often referred to in these rumors, would not attend the event. The claim continues to note how, despite significant financial investment in Megan's career, she still failed to break 65,000 album sales in her first week, a figure that some see as underwhelming given her level of exposure. What makes this situation even more intriguing is the fact that this year's VMAs will be held in Queens, New York, Nicki Minaj's hometown. According to the rumors, this location choice allegedly made Roc Nation and Megan Thee Stallion nervous, fearing that Nicki would once again dominate the event as she has in the past 2 years. To prevent this, it is speculated that Roc Nation insisted Megan host and perform at the show to ensure the spotlight remained on her instead of Nicki. Another source echoed these claims, stating that there was indeed a VMA debacle involving Desiree Perez of Roc Nation. Allegedly, Perez threatened MTV, insisting that if their demands weren't met, Roc Nation's most prominent artists would boycott the event. This alleged power play has only added to the growing belief that Roc Nation is going to extreme lengths to elevate Megan's profile, even at the expense of other artists like Nicki Minaj. For Nicki's fans, these rumors only reinforce the narrative that Roc Nation and its affiliates are actively working against her. They see Megan's hosting gig as yet another attempt to overshadow Nicki's influence, especially in a venue as symbolic as Queens. Meanwhile, Megan's critics argue that her career is being artificially inflated by Roc Nation's backing, pointing to her struggles with ticket sales and album performance as evidence that she's being propped up by industry power players rather than genuine fan support. As the VMAs approach, the tension between these fan bases continues to escalate, with each side eager to see how the event unfolds. Whether these claims hold any truth, or are merely the product of fan speculation, they have certainly added a layer of intrigue and drama to what is already one of the year's most anticipated music events. Both the performers and the behind-the-scenes dynamics may shape this year's VMAs narrative. Made sure it was known that if Nicki Minaj performed Red Ruby at the VMAs, there would be trouble. Remember, Nicki said in her opening monologue at the VMAs last year phone calls were made about her being the show's host. Now Desiree has asked the VMAs allow Megan to host and perform this year 2024 so that Nicki won't be the main attraction. This year's VMAs are set to be held in Queens, New York, Nicki Minaj's hometown, and rumors are swirling that Beyonce is being used as a bargaining chip to ensure Megan Thee Stallion gets a prime spot at the event. According to these claims, Roc Nation CEO Desiree Perez allegedly has the power to ensure that Beyonce won't attend the VMAs if their demands regarding Megan aren't met. This power play has raised eyebrows, especially among those who see this as yet another instance of Roc Nation pulling strings behind the scenes to promote Megan's career, potentially at the expense of other artists like Nicki Minaj. For some fans, the idea that Roc Nation would go to such lengths isn't surprising. Roc Nation's job, after all, is to promote its artists, and Megan Thee Stallion is one of their biggest stars. However, the way they're allegedly doing it is what has sparked controversy. To many, it appears that Roc Nation is not just promoting Megan but is engaging in questionable tactics to elevate her status in the music industry, fueling the narrative that they're trying to position her as the next Nicki Minaj. The rumors of Roc Nation's involvement in boosting Megan's career at all costs have been circulating for some time, but the VMAs controversy has brought these speculations to the forefront. Fans quickly voiced their opinions on social media, with many suggesting the claims may be true. Some fans have gone so far as to express their frustration and impatience with Roc Nation, eagerly anticipating the day when what they call the Carter and Devil Nation will be exposed. These rumors are not without precedent. Over the past few years, Roc Nation has been accused of using its influence to manipulate the music industry in favor of its artists, particularly Megan Thee Stallion. Critics argue that while it's normal for a label to support its artists, Roc Nation's methods cross a line, involving tactics that are more about undermining other artists than promoting their own. The timing and location of this year's VMAs have only added fuel to the fire. Hosting the event in Queens, where Nicki Minaj hails from, seems to some like a strategic move that could either honor Nicki's legacy or attempt to overshadow her influence by focusing on Megan. For Nicki's fans, this feels like another chapter in the ongoing tension between the two artists, with Roc Nation playing a central role in the drama. What's more, the idea that Beyonce, one of the biggest names in music, could be used as leverage in this situation has struck a chord with many. Beyonce's influence and star power are undeniable, and the notion that her attendance could be contingent on Megan's role at the VMAs suggests that Roc Nation is willing to pull out all the stops to ensure Megan's prominence. While these rumors remain unconfirmed, they've certainly captured the attention of fans and industry insiders alike. The speculation highlights a growing concern among some that the music industry is becoming increasingly politicized, with power dynamics and behind-the-scenes deals shaping the careers of artists in ways that aren't always transparent. As the VMAs draw closer, all eyes will be on how the event unfolds, especially given the swirling rumors and the alleged involvement of Roc Nation. Whether or not there's any truth to these claims, the controversy has already added a layer of intrigue to one of the year's biggest music events. Fans of Nicki Minaj, Megan Thee Stallion, and Beyonce will be watching closely, not just for the performances but for any signs that the behind-the-scenes drama is influencing what happens on stage. Nicki Minaj is upset because Beyonce referred to Megan as the Queen and Jay-Z's Roc Nation oversees Megan's commercial endeavors. Despite all the evil they do, this sounds eerily similar to what transpired at the Grammy Awards. "Oh, they are working against my sister today, but they will fail." Megan and Beyonce won Grammy Awards. Megan is everything Nicki Minaj ever wanted to be, but I was curious about your thoughts on this. Do you believe that Nicki has a valid cause to be upset with Roc Nation, or are you of the opinion that she is just projecting her problems onto Megan? Leave a comment below with your ideas, and then watch this following video.